Miss Maxine Richards, good evening once again.
Good evening, Devon.
And welcome to the Ring of Fire. So let's go straight into it. Let's go straight into it one time. Now, don't read the chat room. If you're seeing the chat room, please do not read the chat room.
Okay, I
It
will
will
not.
distract you, so don't read the chat room.
Okay.
I want you to be focused. Don't.
I'm dying to see those chat
So
room.
let me go.
Okay.
So there you go. So Miss Maxine, you're going up back for the position of welfare officer.
That's correct.
But for those who don't know who's Miss Maxine Richards, could you please just give them a little intro into who is Miss Maxine Richards, one, and why
Mm.
you're going up for back for the position as welfare officer as an independent candidate?
Okay, so I joined the PNM in 2010. I would have joined because it was a party that had, I believed in their philosophies. I believed in the PNM as a whole. I would have read the constitution and I said, okay, I can be part of this movement. So I joined in 2010. In 2015, I became very involved with Port of Spain North St. Anne's West and the election campaign, which was with the candidate Stuart Young. And I have remained in Port of Spain North St. Anne's West ever since. I would have become the secretary of the Port of Spain North St. Women's League in 2016, and I remained in that position until 2024. In 2024, I was elected as the chairman of the constituency's Women's League, and that's a position I currently hold. During the time as well, I sat in on the constituency executive as social media officer, PRO as well, and now I'm the lady vice chair of the constituency. It's a constituency that's very close to my heart, and I will continue working in that constituency as long I um as long as I remain a PNM member, which I think I will remain until I die. So I in 2015, I started also working very closely with Joycelyn Borden, who was the former welfare officer for the party, and I worked with her on all the welfare events. Unfortunately, in 2021, she passed, and the executive of the People's National Movement asked me to hold on as the welfare officer until we had elections in 2022, which I did go up for the same position, and I was elected the welfare officer in 2022. The question you want me to answer is, why am I going up as independent? Well, I don't think any, to be honest, no one from any slate came to me and asked me to be part of their slate. And as such, I had two choices, either go up or don't go up. And I chose go up because I think my track record as the welfare officer over the past 2 years was very good. And I really wanted to help people, continue helping people, especially in a time of opposition where our members need us more than ever. Does that answer your question? I'm not hearing you if you're speaking, Devon.
Yeah, just now, eh? Hold on. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
right. So you hear me now, right?
Yes, I am.
Right. So, but if a slate did approach you, would you have gone up on a slate by chance?
Um, I really can't answer that right now because there were no options at that point in time. So really I really can't say answer right now.
Hmm. So let me ask, and let me ask you this question.
I'm not hearing you.
All right. So, Miss Maxine, are you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Yes, I'm hearing you now.
All right. So we are back. We are back. We are back. And
So I don't think a slate
yeah.
defines someone and
Mhm.
independent.
All right. So let me go to the questions because I know that some people may have questions that they may want to ask you in between. And because apparently we are getting some dip in the electricity in the night
Mm-hmm.
tonight. For some, but I'm hearing a background music. Um, yeah. All right. So, Miss Maxine, tell us what are some of your accomplishments as a welfare officer um, for the last? It would have been one term you would have served as welfare officer.
Yes. During that term, I would have done numerous back to school drives, which would have included, well, let me start from the beginning. Got in was decide that I wanted to include Tobago and Tobago Council in all of my drives, which was not previously done. So I would have worked with welfare officers and we would have done drives in holiday as well as hampered the aspect. You hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. It was just
Okay.
cracking up a little bit.
I also assisted PNM members with wheelchairs, walkers, crutches. I also assisted them with fast tracking their self help grants, social grants, and getting their pension fast tracked through NIB. I assisted persons with getting employment. I had several clothing drives to assist persons who would have lost their clothing during fires. One thing I also did was I liaised with, I lobbied with a lot of medical institutions, both private and public, to assist citizens in much needed medical care. So if a PNM member came to me, I would have ensured a shorter wait time for critical surgeries such as bypass, also assisted members with getting cataract surgeries. And there were cases where members needed to have surgery that were not offered in the public institutions. I would have assisted them in getting it done in institutions as I started a meals and I did a trial of it in Christmas 2023 where I delivered hot Christmas meals to senior citizens who did not have family. And I think my trial was because I wanted to make those feel so that was a little bit of what I did during the time, which would have been December 2020 until currently.
Uh, Miss Maxine, I think you may have to put do not disturb on your phone because apparently people when they're sending in messages, it breaking up your audio. So it
Oh,
was kind of going in and out a little while ago, right? Right. So as soon as you fix that, we will continue.
is that better?
Right. So we right. Yeah, that is much better.
Okay, so you want me
So
to repeat?
Miss Maxine, well we not really we could always fix it up for you.
Mm-hmm.
But people have a question that they want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
As as a member of the executive, did you encounter any problems with the other members of the executive not wanting you to do certain things or were trying to control you on what you could do and what you couldn't do as a welfare officer?
Not at all. Every single member of the executive was very, very supportive of everything that I did. Whenever I needed advice from some, they would give me, and we worked very well together.
Mm, okay. And what are some of your plans that if you become the welfare officer again on an independent on an independent ticket, what are some of your plans?
Well, as I have been saying, on the morning of April 29th, we all got up and the PNM was in opposition. And I think PNM members need the welfare officer more than ever now. Majority of our members have lost, and those who haven't lost their jobs, they're scared that they will be losing their jobs soon. A lot of them are being victimized. So it's at this point in time that myself and my four welfare officers have to step and take of all of these citizens, these members. Now, my plan to open a food bank. I would like to bank in Port of Spain and open other ones throughout the country. This would allow PNM members to the food bank to get food when they need it most. right? Have to on a hamper. They need food, come and they get it. I also want to open a clothing bank. This clothing bank will also have clothes for young professionals who are starting to work and they don't have, always when you now start to work, you don't have that first month salary to buy nice clothes to go to work. They can come to this clothing bank and get professional clothes that would assist them and see them through the first month. And as long, so it's right now, I have to think about what the members need most. We'll also have to assist them with getting jobs and also, in some cases, with simple things like resume writing. I want to do some health caravans as well as some
Mm.
trainings
All
throughout
right.
the constituencies. There's a project that I would love to do, which is a welfare. This welfare fund, the stalwarts who need to do surgeries which they may not be able to afford. I intend to fund this welfare fund by doing events with something separate and apart from what PN, and this will give me sufficient funds to fund these.
Mm-hmm.
And the of my plan for the next 2 years. Term of a welfare officer is 2 years.
Mm. So, members of the public, do you all have any questions that you would like to ask Miss Maxine Richards?
Oh, and Devon, if necessary,
They
I will
say
make my.
you're breaking up.
You're probably hearing my dog barking. If necessary, I will make myself
You,
available to PNM members
yeah, go ahead.
on a weekly basis if they need to come and speak to me about their.
You, you are you're breaking up, Miss Maxine. You're breaking up. We hear the dog, but we need you. The dog paid you 2 cents. No, we not paying you.
What I was saying is, I'll also make myself available
You're breaking up bad.
members where they can come and discuss any of their issues that they may have.
Question. Director, could you put the question up so that we could ask Miss Maxine the question? Or Miss Alte, you want to repost you send over the question again so that Miss Maxine could be able to answer the question? Sorry. So while we wait on the director to put the questions up. All right. So just now, Miss Maxine, let me get the first question for you. Let me get the first question. Oh God, like they're ready to call in. Hold on, hold on. Let me take this call. All right. Good evening, caller.
Devon, good evening to you.
Good
Your
evening.
program platform. Devon, good afternoon. Good evening. You hear me to you on your platform?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead, caller.
And good afternoon to one of your candidates there, Miss Maxine Richards, who I understand is going up for the position of welfare officer. Now, Devon, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to Maxine Richards,
Mm.
and I'm asking myself a question. No, I'm not going to question her about it. It's just a statement that I'm going to make. Now, Miss Maxine Richards stated prior to her function under her last party, which was in government, that she had assisted many PNM activists and people. Now, I want to ask a question. Is it that when your party is in governance and you are the welfare officer, is it that only members, people who are members to your party would you assist? Because I'm here when she says she assists the people with self-help and fast tracking some surgeries and stuff like that. And I would like her to know, although that is well and good, there were other people who I know people who applied to self-help. I even went with a certain old person up and down from Tobago to Trinidad about 16 times, even asked two board members on the board to assist them to get a little grant to do a roof. And they never get through. And every time they go to either Trinidad or Tobago, all they give me is the people application number on a form. And I want to know if that is right. If in fact, when you are the welfare officer for your party, you are only supposed to help people for your party. And these are one of the reasons and several factors why people choose not to support PNM and why people choose not to vote for them.
So
Because
your
you go there as an individual and no help. So is it that you have to have a party card for either party to get assistance?
your question is basically asking whether or not if so your question is
When
basically
they are when they are elected,
Question.
mm,
if they're not supposed to serve
Okay.
everybody, or are they only supposed to serve their party activists,
oh,
especially since they was in governance?
all right.
Okay.
So Miss Maxine,
Can- Okay.
They're not supposed to serve.
yeah, you want to answer?
Yes, I want to answer the question. If somebody reaches out to me, and a lot of people have reached out to me in the past, they might not. I mean, a lot of people have literally reached out to me on Facebook. I do not ask them if they are members or not. I do try my best. If somebody is to me, how am I in a position to assist them? Right? I have a lot of people that
Mm.
there are lots of people who message me and say they're having problems getting help through self, whatever it would be. And I would just do what I have to do to get them the assistance. I don't come out and ask them, are you a PNM member or not? But I want to go on record saying that if I don't know somebody has an issue, how am I going to help them?
Mm. All right. And
I mean, my
this
telephone
question
number
here.
has been all over Trinidad and Tobago and back. Plus, and as I've also said, people who are not even my friends on Facebook, they reach out to me through Facebook Messenger. They reach out to me through Instagram, TikTok, because I'm on all forms of social media. And if they have issues, they reach out to me and they ask me for assistance, and I try my best to help them.
All right. And here we have another question here. The welfare officer is often close to the ground and close to members. How would you ensure that the party's leadership is informed about the relevant members' concerns without exposing privacy?
Okay, so how there is a welfare committee. The welfare committee is made up of the welfare officer that sit on each end of all the 41 constituencies, right? So these officers would be on the ground and working in and helping as much as they can. They also, if they being on their executives, they would then meet. Some of them would be the executives would be in general council, and being in general council, when they come, they speak. They would have the speak to let the party leadership know of any. Of course, no names are being called. They just state it. If someone on the ground comes to me directly and there's an issue that I personally cannot, I would of course liaise with the relevant person on the part to give me assistance. A lot of the information that comes to me comes directly
Okay.
from the various welfare officers who are responsible for for the constituency that they serve in.
Oh, okay, okay. Second question here. What do you think is the biggest difference between a welfare officer at the constituency level and versus national party level? So I'll read it again. What do you think is the biggest difference between a being a welfare officer at the constituency level versus national party level?
The main difference is the persons that they would see about. So if you, okay, let us say each welfare officer is a manager, right? The officer is the CEO of the managers. Managers, they would deal with their various persons and they deal with them on a local being policy. But the national welfare officer who I relate as the CEO would deal with the entire region, not local. So when
Hmm.
when I do drives, I would do my thing in a very large amount because I provide for all the welfare to give their people. You understand? So if I okay,
Yes.
say I am doing a book bag drive, I would make sure that each one of my welfare officers have a certain number of book bags to give their people, right? You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, I understand. I understand where you're coming from because remember it's 41 constituencies. So each 41 constituency will get a certain amount and they
Yeah, so the 41 constituencies, they would deal with things at a local level, and I would deal with nationally between both Trinidad and Tobago. And I have a
so
welfare officer will come to me and say one of her constituents needs a pair of glasses. She may not have the ability to get the necessary funds to buy glasses. At that point in time, I step in and I get the funds and I get the glasses, give it to the welfare.
Mm. All right. So the next question that is being asked is, I'm trying to figure out what is this question here, but I don't know why it was placed like this, but I'm trying to figure out this question. If what is this question, director, that she used the other? I don't know. I don't know. Could you put that in perspective? How to ask that question? But Miss Maxine, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
If you let me say you win, right? You went up, you win the position as welfare officer. You now have to work with some people on the fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that you'll be intimidated to work with them, being that you are not part of the slate? And and do you think you will have the ability to even work along with them,
But I've worked
holding
with,
the position as welfare officer?
I don't think I will have any problems working with them because we all have a very good working relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
we worked together well for 2 years.
Okay, okay, all right. And this is a question here. The question is, did you use? I don't know why it is they don't put the question properly, but all right. Did you use the other welfare officers in your last post? And if not, why?
If I use
And would you, uh,
if I use them, meaning what?
and they're saying, but I think you answered this question, but I'm still trying to figure out what is the question they're asking here. But let me move on to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
And I will ask that people put the questions properly so that people can read them properly, please. Because when you put them like that and you just do put it in proper perspective, it gives me a little more hard time that I could be reading like, I mean to say a regurgitated way of saying, but I'll be saying stupidness at the same time. But this is the question here that somebody's asking. Since you had held the position before, what would you do differently if re-elected?
Well, the first thing I will have to do differently is I would, whatever I used to assist with in the past, I would have to assist with it at least 10 times more because, as I said, we are in
Mm,
opposition now, and a lot of our members become unemployed. We have
mm.
so we have to assist much more people than we did before. That
Oh.
is why as I would have said, I want to create a food bank that would ensure that persons, members who need immediate assistance can come to the food bank and get food. Similarly with clothing.
Mm. But let me ask you this final question here,
Mhm.
Miss Maxine. Now, being that you are in opposition and you have talked about a lot of members being unemployed, what is the welfare department or the welfare department of in fact would you be managing What is the welfare department doing to make these unemployable persons become
Employable.
entrepreneurs? No, no, to become entrepreneurs in terms of not being dependent on just getting up to go and work for somebody, but work for themselves.
I think at that point in time, what after the elections, once I am successful, I will have to create some programs that will teach these unemployed persons something similar to what former Minister Cummings would have done, but some not on a big scale like that. But we would have to create programs that would assist these unemployed persons get to be able to do different trades
Mm,
and that type of thing. I mean,
mm,
that is something that is very important, and I think I would probably have to work with the youth officer, the lady vice chair, and even the field officer to come up with programs that can be used to assist people like this.
okay. And the final question here tonight.
I thought that was the
What
final one.
well somebody put in they put in one last one.
Okay.
But this is the final question because we have to go to the other candidate who's coming up. But what were the challenges you faced as a welfare officer, especially with regards to getting resources availability, information out to the membership?
I think the. Could you repeat the question again? The challenges in
What
getting.
were what were the challenges you faced as a welfare officer, especially with regards to getting resources, availability, information to the membership?
Okay. I think because of my, what should I say? I don't want to, because of my family background, I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of contacts which I would use to get resources. Now, these contacts will still exist even though the party is in opposition, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I do not foresee, and I mean, I might have to work a little harder to get more funding to do more work because we have
Yeah.
more people to take care of than we would have had 2 years ago.
Right.
But I think, in terms of getting information to the members, the the main way of getting information to the members is through the various welfare officers, and that's how they would then provide the information to persons on in their constituencies. But as I said, any member of the Trinidad and Tobago can reach out to me at any point in time. There are many ways to find me. I hope that answers the question.
Mm. Well, well, I think that answers the question right there. And we want to thank you, Miss Maxine, for coming on. Let's ask the well. Oh no, well, I won't be able to see the message that coming through. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So if you want to send your message, please.
If
So
people have any questions, they can feel
Miss
free to go onto my Facebook page and send me a message. And I will try my best to respond to it.
tell them what's your your Facebook page now.
No, they can go
Tell
on.
them with your message. Your
They
message.
can go
Yeah.
on to Maxine Richards, Welfare Officer for the People's National Movement. I have a Facebook page there, and
Mm-hmm.
I I answer messages. I mean, within an hour. They can also send a direct message to me on my
Okay.
personal
Okay.
page.
Okay. So you can get in contact with you directly. I want to thank you, Miss Maxine, for coming in and being a part of the Ring of Fire. I ain't see nobody hitting no boa or nothing as yet. So apparently you passed the test.
Thank you for having me, Maria.
So apparently, all right. So
You have a good
that
night,
was Miss
and
Maxine Richards.